Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, Nigeria. Welcome to Nigeria Vote Studio on TVC. We're keeping our eyes on the electoral process. It's day 2 of elections, general elections in Nigeria. Today, Nigerians go to the polls to decide the governors who will govern them for the next 4 years. Of course, the process is in full swing. Voting and accreditation have commenced across the states of the Federation. The exercise is on. Our correspondents are in different locations, and they've been bringing us reports. And the exercise has been peaceful so far, in spite of the hitches reported here and there. So our conversation is continuing in the studio, and as I welcome my guests, I have with me Dokun Adedeji, Public Affairs Analyst. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
I also have Janet Mba Afolabi. Thank you. You're welcome to
Good morning.
Nigeria Vote.
Thank you.
Okay, so the exercise is gaining momentum across the Federation. We're seeing Nigerians coming out to vote. We're seeing arrival of materials. We have our correspondent who is about to talk to us from Imo State, I believe.
Hello. Okay, great.
Yes, we have a live feed from Imo State. Ivy Kanu is in Imo State. Of course, she had reported earlier that voting started a bit late, but materials arrived eventually in the polling unit where she reported from. But it's a busy atmosphere where we're watching now on our screen. A candidate appears to be casting his ballot. We'll have our correspondent give us full details of what exactly is playing out at that scene. We'll return to that. Okay, so from 1999 till date, this is about the 6th election that the electoral umpire is conducting. Let's do, a very short assessment of the process from that time till now. Have there been improvements? Let me start with Janet.
I think there has been a whole lot of improvements compared to what we had in the past with the introduction of the smart card reader, which was first used by the last election. It was an experiment which in many cases did not work, but it was understandable because we're just trying it for the first time. 2K, for instance, it didn't work. But it was not a big deal. Could have happened to anybody when the former president voted and the smart card reader just refused not to work, and in many other places. So there is a whole lot of improvement compared to that of 2015. And the logistics too has improved, although in some areas voting materials didn't get there until about 10 a.m. in the morning, unlike the last election where voting in some places did not even start until 12 noon. So I think we are moving forward, although we may not have gotten it like it.
Since so many of their locations are started late, they should extend time to accommodate those people who are still willing to persevere and vote for the candidate of their choice.
Okay, go round, sir. We need to have there is no turnout. What we advise to Nigerians?
And they should come out en masse. It is a very, very unusual year of election. A season characterized by, low turnout. It's not unique to Nigeria alone. It's universal that the world is experiencing, apathy. I think we, the politicians, may have to find a means of defining method to inspire our members to really get people encouraged especially again our youth. They need to be aware, be informed, and be carried along to take democracy very seriously because it affects their lives.
Okay, generally, if you are to do an assessment of the we have to do an assessment of how INEC has, is conducting the exercise. How would you rate it, and also the security officials?
The security officers have done very well. The INEC has started very well. They got materials to various local governments early enough, and they've logistically they have well prepared. Why their staff arrived late in some areas is what I cannot explain because I'm restricted to telephone and my location. I can only take it from various. In terms of security, Lagos has always been ready to celebrate democracy. It's still violent free. And I take exceptions to the 2 weeks ago Okota incident. I'm very upset about that. Placing Lagos as if we were violent prone. If you have 1,325 polling units, only 5 units were affected by Okota incident, you shouldn't classify that one as a failure. That is 97.something%, if I'm right, mentally. And if you have to evaluate, but to you people, it's not a story. It's only the incident that will be a story. So I can't explain better than that, but to you journalists too, you have to look at materiality factor in this sense. How significant is a 5 units out of 1,325 units, where only 1 person or 5 units were affected, characterized with violence, and you now hype Lagos as being violent. You are not doing justice to us. You are not doing justice to the economy. You are not doing justice to your own medium of information, and not to INEC themselves.
What are the hopes of your party considering the auto care are going to be win?
Yes, former governor of Lagos State and Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu addressing the press there just after exercising his franchise. He's being bombarded with questions by gentlemen of the press. He has addressed
million a month. Today it's over 30 billion. No nation, no state has achieved financial independence as Lagos. No other. They depend on allocation from federal government. Lagos State today will not depend on any allocation.
To violence as a result of the Okota incident. He appears to still be addressing the press. From there, we will go to Imo State, where there's also a significant activity.
Has exponentially been better than any other state of this country. Lagos State has become
Yes, former Governor Bola Tinubu still speaking there.
Who's the leader? Who
But are you afraid?
Better than other countries.
Are you afraid that your party might be threatened, the stronghold of your party might be threatened in this election by the auto?
All right. We'll return to that to give you a full brief of the discussion, the conversation the former governor had with the press. From there, let's now go to Imo State, where a candidate is addressing the press as well. He appears to have just exercised his franchise. Yes.
Okay,
Senator Hope Uzodimma is addressing the press right now.
Hope Uzodimma just voted, and we are going to find out his assessment of the whole process. Sir, what's your assessment?
Well, I think I'm very impressed, and I think this election has been conducted consistent with reasonable expectations, and I think INEC has done so well, and the security agencies, given what we know that was planned by opponents of democracy before this time, security agencies have done also very, very well. So I think I want to commend them and thank Almighty God for making these things come true.
Are you impressed by the turnout?
Yeah, of course. I'm sure that even as huge as this turnout is, I expect that more people will continue to come, because you know Imo State is an APC state.
You sound very optimistic.
Of course, because I know what I'm saying. I know our people believe in this great party. Our people believe in my candidature, and I'm sure if they're allowed to exercise their rights, they will express that through the polls.
Thank you very much. We just spoke with one of the candidates.
Yes, our correspondent in Imo State, Ivy Kano, just finished speaking with Senator Hope Uzodimma, a candidate in the election taking place today. And of course, you heard what he had to say about the electioneering process. He expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the election, even more so with the voter turnout in that state. And now we're returning to the studio for a continuation of our conversation. And just before we had to take that break to get sound bites from party leaders and candidates in the election, we were looking at the conduct of elections by the electoral umpire since 1999. And Janet was talking about, in her assessment, the improvement of the process so far.
I think the improvement is gradual. For instance, this election, INEC printed 421 million ballot papers. That's a huge, with a huge sum of money. That's huge compared to the election that we had in the past. And this is because there were 73 political parties that contested in the presidential, and many of them are also going out. 73 candidates. Candidates, yes. 91 politics, and many more are still waiting to be registered. So you can imagine the number of ballot papers that were printed compared to the past elections, and that